All right, welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, joined by Randy Angston and special guest today, folks, coming in from about 4 miles away from here, Scott Carpenter, Iron Circle member, founder of PT Legends, founder of several gyms in the area.
Yep.
You got Green Light Personal Training and Underground Fitness, and Transform is another model. But welcome to the
Thanks.
Built to Grow
It was a long trip to get here.
Yeah. He walked.
So funny enough, Scott is a gym owner in the local Scottsdale market with us. In fact, he's probably our closest competitor that does about what we do. I mean, of course, we have class-based models and stuff, but Scott's mostly personal training. And you could speak about your kind of model that you run over there. But you're also a member of our Iron Circle Mastermind. Everybody's that been listening to this show knows all about the Iron Circle. He is somebody that's doing a lot of things. I respect Scott. He's doing owns buildings. He's kind of running a coaching group for gym owners as well. And so a lot of people would probably look at this and be like, why would you bring a guy that's what would quote unquote be a competitor onto a show like this? Or into your gym, right?
Or into the mastermind.
Right.
Hey, let's go make more money while you're directly competing. Competing.
There you go.
Competing.
And I think we both look at it a little bit differently. I think there's plenty to go around the abundance mindset versus scarcity.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning of time, when I was in my first location, I wouldn't really talk to anybody. I was afraid everybody was stealing everything, and like I don't want to lose any clients to that person over there. But as you get weathered in this industry a little bit longer, you realize that's not really an accurate statement.
As you collect a few of the salt and peppers. But yeah, I had the same exact thing. Like I thought even back in the day, because I mean, Facebook was even just getting going as we started as gym owners over a decade ago, right? But I was even worried too. I had such a scarcity mindset at that stage where I didn't even want to like on Facebook another gym.
There you go.
That's how fearful I was back in the day.
Well, I think a lot of gym owners listening to this right now probably are sitting in that seat right now.
Yeah.
And I think it's an iteration of being an owner, seeing other people win, and knowing that just because they're winning doesn't mean you're losing, right? You don't have to blow somebody else's candle out to make yours brighter. That's kind of the mindset around it.
Well, we know, I mean, even talking about what we know from gym memberships, right? Ur said a couple years ago, I mean, we're talking 86% of this nation's never owned a gym, never had a membership at a gym. They've never walked inside a fitness facility. Like, if we're there's 86% of this nation that is wide open for everybody to go, speak to. That's not competition.
There's there's so much business out there for everybody. And it's just, we think of competition a lot differently. And then the way we approached it, kind of when we connected, you heard about some of the things that I was doing, and then we're asking about that. And well, I attended your event, which is coming up, the Fit Pro Growth Summit. Then we met there. And from there, we continued the conversation, and you kind of learned what I was doing that was unique in my models, that was really working well. And we're interested in learning that. And then I had been introduced to your Iron Circle because of that. And I was kind of looking for a new home of gym owners as I'd been progressing through different ones. And I found that with the Iron Circle, which was amazing. So the cool thing is we both get to learn and grow from each other, which has been fantastic. And your business will be better for it. My business will be better for it. And all the gyms that are in the Iron Circle, right? Yeah. They're all better for that stuff too.
I agree. And what do we want to say? What mastermind you were in prior? I don't know if I know.
I was in Two Brain at the time.
Oh,
I was in their upper level one. I think it's called the Tinker program.
Got it.
Which the guy who runs the Tinker program, not the owner of Two Brain, he's fantastic. He's amazing. I introduced you to him.
Talking about Jeff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's such a cool guy. Yeah. I love being in there. But at the same time, as a gym owner, the stuff that they were teaching overall for that is just like, it was kind of very dogmatic in a way, and kind of built specifically for CrossFit gyms.
Makes sense.
At the time, like I was like the highest revenue organization in there out of like hundreds. So I'm like, I need to find something a little bit
different
bigger.
seat at the table, right table, sure.
Yep. That was cool because I got randomly invited to go to the Fit Pro Growth Summit. by Sumit.
Yeah.
Oh,
buddy.
yeah.
Yeah, he gave me a +1 ticket, and I'm like, whoa.
Sweet.
This group is pretty badass.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is, right? So you and another one of our Iron Circle members, Daniel, was in another mastermind, and he felt like he was at the top of his mastermind that he was in, and he's found a new home with Iron Circle as well, and he's growing. And do you remember Daniel's story at the last Iron Circle event? He's like, I'm doing, let's just say $780,000 a month or a year, and I'm only working like 10 hours, and we're not losing anybody, and we're like what else can we get out of this thing?
He's trying to squeeze it harder. Yeah.
And we were looking at him like, I think you squeezed pretty much all the juice out of this bad boy, because he's not because that was part of his thing, was like, I don't want to work harder for the more money. I'm good. I would in fact work less if possible.
Yeah. To that point, and something that you bring to the table in that group in that conversation, is the gym is the commonality, right? When you get to a certain point, you're making minute changes for minute gains. You can only squeeze so hard unless you're making massive differences or changing your model and like really switching something up. So a lot of those gyms are at that kind of level, but then it becomes the what's next. And one of the big things that you've contributed to the group was a lot of the investment conversation, and that's what I loved about it. Right, like right from that situation, Daniel. He obviously has a desire to grow in life, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen through the same vehicle.
Right.
And so now his opportunity is, all right, I'm sitting in the room with others who have other opportunities and other ways of increasing wealth and the longevity and the generational opportunities and things like that Daniel wants, but it might not just happen from squeezing his gym any harder.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah. And that's a big component of that Iron Circle, because it's not just, hey, how do I go sell more memberships in my gym? It's legacy stuff. It's what comes next, and that's imperative to anybody who's sitting in that seat.
100%. You can only there's diminishing returns in any single location, and you can grow to multiple locations, right? That is a thing, but in the case of like Daniel, you're taking on risk, you're taking on overhead, you're probably taking on personal guarantees, and your time, right? There's no getting around that. And so, hey, if that's the path you want to go, great. But not everybody wants to. Some people are like, I'm making great money. My time is spent doing the things that I like to do. I don't really want to disturb that by going for extra. You can grow in different ways, though. Yeah. It's how do you take these assets, both financially and with cash flow, but also the assets you've acquired, and learn how to do. And how do you start building on that in a different way? And that's what I'm huge on. Yeah. I'm huge on building passive income, passive cash flow, taking wealth and making the right decisions as an investor, and growing in different ways and clever ways.
Well, and I think that your position, and you've grown, your organization, your portfolio through the gyms. It's been a long time since you've been the guy on the training floor having to do those roles. And I think that if some of those gym owners that are sitting in that group or just listening to us that want the type of lifestyle that you've created for yourself, you have to get out of your own way at some point. You have to decide it's not training a client better that's going to get my business to $1 million. It's the leverage of cash flow, the leverage of the assets, understanding the business that goes along with providing a great result.
Absolutely. And you can't learn all this stuff by yourself or from books. You have to be around other people that introduce you to these new ideas, new ways of thinking, new ways of doing things. Because the biggest thing that's going to hurt you is the stuff that you don't know.
There you go.
But that's the hardest part, because you don't know what you don't know, right? And as I started to spend time with all these different gym owners and all these different other mentors or coaches, I started being introduced to different ideas, different ways of doing things. Never would have come across this had I not joined these groups or been exposed to these people or went to these events. And that's why I continue to do it, because I learned something. I'm like, whoa, I never knew that before. I look into it, and then lo and behold, I'm doing it 6 months later.
And that's the exact right mindset for what we're doing in the Iron Circle. And speaking of different things, you bring a totally different model to the gym industry. You'd bring a totally different kind of front end, high ticket kind of deal. And I'll give you the quick background on when I heard about what you were doing, and we'll speak more on it. I was interested. I was like, well, what is Scott doing that's so different and essentially, and I'll let you explain it, it's on the front end. you're charging giant fees for giant programs, a lot of help, above and beyond what they were getting in the gym. This is mostly everything outside the gym, in fact. And while Zach and I had always thought of doing something like this, we almost needed some type, in a way, permission to charge that much. We're like, well, okay, we can do this. We can charge this. And so when we adopted some of that kind of front end transformation style, high ticket stuff, we found a lot of success in that, helping clients with everything outside of the training. And so why don't you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I think, a lot of times we just get focused on selling better workouts, which is what everybody's trying to do, right? Whether you're Orange Theory or F45 or Barry's, but you're just trying to sell better
or
workouts.
Trick them to believe that it's different, but it's the same thing. It's just lipstick on a pig type of thing.
The orange zone.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time.
Follow the science, Randy.
You mean the same thing that's been on every cardio piece of equipment since the existence of cardio equipment?
Yeah.
So we're all, a lot of us are just trying to sell better workouts or some intangibles like, hey, we care more or blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, nobody wants to work out. Like the weirdos want to work out. That's it. Everybody else, they don't want memberships. They don't want sessions. They want to make a change in some way. Typically, it's not just about the external weight either. It's they feel bad about themselves. It's their self-confidence, their social confidence. They want to become the best versions of themselves. But in their heads, they're just like, hey, I feel crappy about myself, therefore I need to lose weight and get in shape, therefore I need to work out, therefore what are your rates? It's all they know to ask.
Yeah, they know that.
And at the end of the day, the workouts are necessary, but let's be honest, anything you do, I come in here and work out 3 times a week versus my place versus another place. Is there really that big of a difference in the workouts? As long as they're good and they're done, it doesn't really matter what style. Even whether it's large group or semi or one-on-one, as long as the workouts are there, they're needed, but they're the least important part of somebody changing. It's not the 3 hours in the week of the week that they're working out. It's the 165 other hours that they're not working out. That's where all the change comes from the mindset angle, from the nutrition angle, from the habits-based angle. And so what we do is we identify, hey, who needs help, who needs more help than just the workouts. And essentially we have a high ticket program that is not just nutrition and accountability, but it is also, it's built on the other 165 hours a week that they need to solve their problems. And so if somebody has a strong pain or a strong desire to change, they're a really good candidate for a high ticket mentorship, which is, they don't always have to be 9 weeks. Most are 9 weeks, but typically you could charge anywhere from $2,000 to $8,000 for something like that. And they play very well with a 6-week challenge in a way with nutrition and accountability, because that is your mid ticket. If you run into a sheer affordability issue on the high ticket, and this is stuff that evolved since that we took Zach through it, but you can have nutrition and accountability, which is 80% of that. Like if they pure affordability, but they're like, holy cow, like I need this program. It's exactly what I needed. But I'm a single mom. I'm a teacher. That's where you can say, hey, we've got another program that's 80 to 90% of this, leaving no stone unturned for you to get to where you need to be. All the workouts, custom nutrition plan built out for the things that you like to eat, and the accountability to get you there. And the price is only X, which is going to be a lot less than your high. So the mid ticket fills that in. But for the people who don't have any kind of a big external
motivating intrinsic motivation to change, sure.
External or internal, desire to change, they just, hey, I want to join a community and sweat. Cool. All right. Well, based on our conversation today, I don't want you doing either one of those, but I wanted to let you know in case that comes up in the future, somebody who really needs to make health and fitness a priority in their lives. I want you to start here. Right. And even just by having a high ticket program, your other stuff looks like peanuts in comparison. It makes it easier to sell.
Do you guys, both of you, because I mean, obviously you said that initially you weren't necessarily looking for permission, but you kind of associated like the value of what people were willing to spend around what you kind of were conditioned to sell, right? Like we didn't see these things come across all the time. Where was that kind of shift? Like what allowed both of you guys? I mean, obviously you've really put your flag in the ground. Now you help others with this stuff. But what was that shift that kind of made you both feel like, okay, this is something that it provides the value for the chain? Because I mean, we all know like what we sell, we should be able to collect a hell of a lot more money for everybody listening, right? With the service what we provide. But this is, in my opinion, it's a little bit more in alignment with the value we bring to the table for what our clients are getting. at a high ticket price.
think,
so like,
yeah.
where did that shift take place, or how did that take place?
I think the big overcome is that we're so used to fitness being the thing we're selling, and if we're
is
not,
the workout itself,
Yeah.
meaning
the fitness aspect, that part, you know, like that's what we conditioned to sell. But if we're really being honest, we're trying to sell a result for somebody, and all these little things that happen in between. We're doing it as coaches on a regular basis, getting the sleep, the water in, you know, thinking, you know, the right way, but that's not necessarily you know, top of mind when we're thinking about a gym. And so like, although we know it, it's not really, we're not thinking like that belongs in the gym per se. As a trainer, you're like kettlebell swings and deadlifts. But if we're being honest, there's all these other parts, because you could, you're right, Scott, you can't out-train a bad diet. You can't, you know, all the change happens outside the gym. All that stuff is absolutely true. And I think we just needed a way to kind of like package it up to say, hey, this is the things, other things that people need. We need to also say that we're allowed to sell that.
Yeah, and a lot of us are doing some of those small pieces. We help with nutrition, but guess what? We're doing it for free, or we're saying, we do this as part of this membership because it's the right thing to do, and it is, right? But here's the problem is that when it's free or it's low cost, people don't respect it. They won't do it. It's like pulling teeth to get them to make any sort of nutritional changes ever.
Right.
But if you know, they express this desire and they have to invest, you know, like if adding on nutrition coaching is $150 a month, all right, yeah, I'll give it a shot. Right? Versus if it's $3,000, you know, and it's just like, I'll give it a shot. And then it's pulling teeth. They don't make habits. It's frustrating for everybody. And then they're out. But if they're paying $3,000 to learn how to change their habits for a lifetime, and you've gotten into the pain and the fact that they've struggled with their weight for 9 years, they feel uncomfortable in their own skin, you know, they don't feel confident or sexy anymore around their spouse. Like, you get to that, and then you talk about why they failed in the past because they just tried working out. Maybe they tried a restrictive diet. And there's all this other stuff that we got to do. And they have this desire to do this, and they're spending $3,000. They will change their habits. Absolutely.
What do they say?
Skin in the game.
People that pay attention. That's what they say.
Absolutely.
And it's absolutely true. Yes. A lot of gyms are doing the accountability and, hey, we need to track this, and you're doing your nutrition, and we're going to do these calls with you. And they're not charging for it.
Right.
Or they're charging very little. And again, it goes with the alignment of what a gym should be and what it shouldn't be, or what it's assumed not to be, which is it's definitely a workout place. We know that. That's established.
That's been established,
But like this nutrition angle could be, that itch could be scratched from Weight Watchers or an online nutrition coach or following a diet out of a book, the Mediterranean diet or zone, or any of these things could be over here. Not, the public or even the coaching world doesn't associate the fact that nutrition can be and should be brought, the service should be brought within the gym, the four walls of the gym.
Yeah, the accountability aspect, all of it. As we were kind of talking about it, like the fitness being the component that, you know, gyms provided, right? Well, even before the training aspect came into play, right? It was here's the weights. You're responsible for walking in. You were responsible for walking in and getting your fitness checked here. Now that we provide education and the coaching that comes with the fitness, to that point, do you feel like we used to compete against those other services? You know what I mean? When it came to nutrition and maybe even accountability in some other realm, but like they were left to be done by other sources than the fitness facility, and that's why we've kind of. I mean, if you think about the progression of the industry as a whole, I mean, we all see it going that way, right? A little bit more holistic, a little bit more. You know, we understand. Hey, it's the way that you're thinking that gets your ass to the gym, not just the vehicle that you decide to get into, right? You know, so do you think that the progression of like the industry realizing, hey, we are a bigger contributor to the overall wellness of our client than just providing a workout, has given us that platform to be able to go execute those things in those areas?
I feel like the industry is lagging behind in a big way.
I would agree. As a whole, so. I would agree with that.
But you're right. I think the public demand, like there's, you know, it's not just the workouts. I don't know of many people who even just want to just do the workouts. They just want the results of it, and it's magnified. So I think that, I think there's a trend over the past several years of things becoming more holistic, bringing mindset into the play a lot more. And that's like what the high ticket thing is. It's like a mentorship, right? Versus your mid ticket, that's nutrition and accountability. The high ticket adds mentorship. And then you've just got your commodity offer. And I call it a commodity offer. That's just the workouts, because that's what everyone has. Everyone has workouts, whether it's large, semi, small group, one-on-one, whatever it is. But yeah, I think there's a growing trend towards that, and people are expecting that. And the question that you asked before is like, hey, how did you break those beliefs? And like you said, you thought about that, but it's like, I don't know what's possible. Yeah. And I think I got introduced to this because of COVID. When we were all shutting down, one of my partners at one of my gyms was looking into online coaching and different ways you can do that and blah, blah, blah. There's a million different ways. Yeah. But then we're looking at like, okay, these online coaches are charging $3,000 to $8,000 for like shorter term, low touch point, virtual programs for weight loss and things like that. And then that's when I'm like, okay, how are these guys doing that? And then as gym owners, where we provide way more value, we are charging relatively peanuts for it.
Compared.
And that was, yep, exactly. And that was the catalyst to figuring it out and taking different aspects of these different things and creating a Frankenstein baby and putting it inside a brick and mortar gym. And so that's what we did.
Yeah, and it took a COVID to do that, right? It forced us to think outside the literal box of your four walls. And yeah, you see this happening. Everybody knows the online coaches. They're everywhere.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
everywhere.
You're getting targeted right now. I'm getting targeted in my pocket. It's like, hey, you want a nutrition program? And yeah, they're offering it. So like, why can't gym owners? And I think it's a really good point. If the end goal is the result, then we have to. It's our obligation to provide these other options, or built-in options to get clients results. It's just what it is. And I think where you were going, Randy, is I think the public is finally catching up.
Yeah.
I don't think necessarily a person would walk in to a gym, personal training gym, signs on the thing, thinking nutrition and accountability. They're definitely thinking weights.
Yeah, exactly.
Workouts. Yeah. So I think it's just an education
that shift
gap.
is happening.
And it is happening. It's becoming more important to the end consumer because they know that's, definitely through COVID, it shifted mindsets. But now the gyms, are starting to get on board. We have to offer this. We belong in this space to serve these types of clients, period.
Absolutely. Because results are hard to come by with clients.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're all giving workouts, we're all doing this, but what percentage of people really make a big change and a lasting change? It's pretty small. Because again, it's all about the other 165 hours in the week. And the ones that do make amazing changes, innately they're making those changes at home, right? They have the right mindset in there. They're modifying their diet. They're doing all those things. So that's why I looked at it like, how can we start replicating that? How can we, and that's a hard thing to crack because people are very resistant to nutritional changes. So that's why the mindset component kind of has to come in to get them open to doing that.
The other side of it is there's some clients that will never do it. Let's be honest.
For sure.
So we talk about these lifestyle clients in our gym, and we almost want them, honestly, because they're easiest. They stay the longest. They're the easiest to manage. They're happy all the time. They're not looking at the numbers on the scale so much, and they serve a great foundation of this gym for sure. That we call them lifestyle clients. If you haven't, they're just here for the lifestyle. They need to work. They come in to work out because they know they have to, and it's just part of their day. But they're not so focused on fat loss or muscle gain.
Those are the best. We call them lifers. But yeah, the ones who
they've adopted that program essentially, right? They've adopted that mindset. It's not that the education, they've got that gap, right? They filled it already. That's people coming out of your program probably end up being more of a lifestyle client because it's the habits, it's the conditions.
Yes.
They've made the choice that it's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I get up and I go to the gym because that's my life. It's not because I need to go lose weight.
Exactly. Right? Because I have a trip coming up.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly. Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like, and that's the whole point. You want to try and take these people. It's very well said. Like you want to try and take these people and help them become that lifestyle client.
Yeah.
They become somebody who works out 3 times a week because they know it's going to help them live their best life. They become somebody who eats well 80 to 90% of the time because they don't want to feel like shit, all day long and every week and every month. So it's kind of like, trying to get those people to where, you're just going to work out 3 times a week for the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life.
Yeah. That's what we say. In fact, that's in our consultation. So, how long is it or how much do I need to work out to get to my result? Well, it's going to be about 3 days a week for the rest of your life. How's that sound?
I love that.
And they buy into it.
Yeah, it's the truth, though. It's the truth.
Yeah, I hate. Well, if we just sell you these 12 sessions, it still get you there, and then after the end of the 12 sessions, you got to resell them and resell them.
Well, but even at that, I mean, I know sitting at this table, and obviously we have extensive conversations about this with the amount of time that we have together. That is a different mindset from a gym owner standpoint or a sales aspect than most gym owners or most salespeople are sitting at that consultation. That's the scarcity.
Telling them the truth.
Being honest with them and letting them know, like, hey, I'm here to earn your business for the rest of your life. I'm not here to take 20 pounds off your ass and then forget about you, right? And even though that's where your pain is right now, let's digest, or let's break that down. Let's get to the root of why you're doing those things, and then you'll understand. Hey, when I lose that 20 pounds, if I go back to the person I was before this path, I'm going to have those same, that same outcome, and that's that change that takes place. And I think that's the most value I think we can provide for our clients, is that even if, we'd love for them to stay with us, but if they got that bug and bit, to your point, like that's our obligation to the marketplace, is that's what we provide.
Correct. It's helping them change their mindset and change their habits. So it becomes a lifestyle. That's it.
Fitness is a vehicle.
And to squeezing more out of a gym, this would be one way to do that, where, hey, we've got our base expenses covered by our recurring membership options, and, bringing in a transformation or front end program will boost revenue. Yeah. The thing that we did, Scott, and I don't know if you've adopted that in the beginning, where, you were kind of bundling the training within the transformation program. Zach made a good move early on to say, hey, that's separate of the transformation. The training's the training. That's over here. You're going to pay for that separately. So we didn't cannibalize our EFT because we're very concerned. Our whole business goal is to increase EFT, increase recurring revenue. But if we were going to bundle that in, it almost like reduces it. You're catching it up front, but you're reducing the EFT. So
there's different ways it can be built in, and you guys are put the EFTs right up front and separate it. And that's one way to do it, which is a great way. Yeah. Right. And then a different way to do it also is, if people are putting it, because it's easier to talk about the sale together, what you do is, like week 6, you prime it up. Week 5, week 6, you have an amazing coaching call, and then you convert them to like a 12-month EFT. So there's a couple different ways. Everybody's models are a little bit different, but the conversion to EFT is essential. Because I know you guys are huge on it, because it gives you the safety and security to walk into every month, not even just covering your bills, but also with a profit. Like if it can cover your gym bills and your lifestyle bills, beautiful. Perfect. You can just make logical decisions from there on out.
And I'm sure it provides a little bit more, stability long-term for the gym owner, because you're not concerned. Like, you have a path after these 9 weeks with that client. Hey, you've made the changes to your mindset. You've adapted the habits. Now you don't need that transformation accountability, or what you call mentorship. You've got that. Let's put you back into where, now you can accelerate with just the things that you need in front of you. Yeah,
the options, though, we look at week 6 to see where they're at, what they need. And the conversion rates to bring them into like a 12-month program are insanely high now. That took us a while to iron out, right? But that's why we do it a good 3 weeks in advance, too. Because we're catching them when it's still exciting. Because anything, like, you can join anything and it's exciting at first, then it's just like more of the same, and it loses that spice. Right. But at the end of the day, week 5 into week 6 is really good, because they're changing mentally, right? They're getting stronger in the gym. They're feeling that. They have more endurance. And then the weight, their body composition starts changing by then too. So you're catching them at a really exciting point in time. And it's really easy to convert it. Or you could just do it the other way, where that transformation is separate from the training, just how you did it. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, and especially if you've got clients that are already in your gym and you introduce this to them, we don't want to burn. We don't want to burn the existing EFT too. So, I mean,
absolutely.
It's a little different when somebody's coming in fresh off the street. But yes, when we did it in the beginning, we're definitely separating. We're almost doing 2 agreements. Sure. And it was just better. And a lot of those clients are still here. They're happy. They're lifestyle clients and things like that. And so that's a win-win.
Now, it's something I want to bring up too, because it's in alignment with this. And obviously, if you bring in, we talked about like price anchoring, being able to get your prices up for higher price programming and things like that. Most gyms have accountability and nutrition in their
Yes.
their repertoire already.
Right.
But nobody's charging for it, right? They're still valuing their entire service by the cost of a workout because it's comparable to the gym down their street.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's, I think, where a lot of gyms can take, even if they don't have the ability to do a high ticket transformation or work their way towards that maybe, look at the pricing and what you bring to the table. If you're doing nutrition and you're doing accountability for a client and you're charging rates of a workout that's comparable to the gym down the street, you're doing it wrong.
Definitely.
Like you need to,
Totally
this is your wake up. Like you have Tim said, it's like we were looking for permission, guys. You have the permission. Like
to charge a lot.
You're doing a hell of a lot more for the clients that are walking through your doors than you realize if you're doing these added components. And not that the workouts aren't imperative, but you want to charge a workout, you get to charge for workouts, right? If you're doing the rest of it, charge for the rest of it.
Correct.
Give yourself, because there's time, there's energy, there's effort, there's resources. You're doing all of that work. The client's the one that's getting the result. Pass that on to them. They will pay for it if you do it right.
Yeah, the gyms that add it in just as they think it's a value add, right? And they need it to sell, but you don't.
That's the
You
sad
don't.
part. I had conversations with gym owners. Sorry to cut you off.
true.
But I had conversations with gym owners that they're doing all of this stuff.
Yes.
And then we're talking, and they're charging half of what we charge for training.
just the
here.
workouts.
$179.
Yeah.
Well, literally 179, 149 was
And they're
the
getting
average
all
of
of
the day.
it. Yeah.
But the gym owner is the only one in the whole situation who's miserable. Clients love
yes.
it, probably. You know what I mean? They're getting incredible results, and the gym owner is broke.
Yeah, I've
Because
seen it
they're
where they're
doing-
charging 129, and they're doing like one-on-one check-ins on nutrition.
Yeah.
129, and they're at, of course, 10, 11K a month, and then the lease is coming up in a year. Like, I don't think we can continue this. And it's just hard because like sometimes we create our worst clients from the mistakes we made by charging low prices early on.
That's a good way of saying it.
We've created that because those could have been amazing clients who would pay you 3-4 times more, right? From the get-go, and would be happy to pay that for the last 4 years. But now you talk about a $20 increase in their rates and they go berserk.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great point. We created
We
that.
created that because we didn't know what we didn't know.
That's
the killer.
Well, and the hard
so
part is
true.
it's you as the business owner who has the decision to go and provide more without charging anymore. Like you're trying to do in your eyes what's right for the client,
Right.
But you're creating literally that cyclical low value. They don't really appreciate most of it. They don't do all of the added stuff because it's there, but it's not really done right. So it is. Yeah, if you're not, it's great opportunity, but make sure that you do it correctly.
Yes. Yeah. It can be tricky because, you can paint yourself in the corner like, oh, this is going to be bloody to get out of this thing.
Yeah,
It can be hard.
that's your wake up call, gym owners. If you're doing this kind of stuff already, it's time to break it out. If you need help from Scott, what's the best way to get a hold of you, Scott?
Instagram at Coach Scott Carpenter or ptlegends.com.
Okay,
One of
and we'll
those.
drop the link
Yeah,
in
we'll
the show notes. So you guys want to get in touch with Scott, kind of, see what he's up to and how to maybe leverage his program into your gym. Definitely reach out. We did it. It was great. There's a lot of value there, and I think a lot of gym owners, and at least it was for me, was like, oh, okay, we can position this in a way where it doesn't cannibalize your EFT, and we can generate, 3,000 or 5,000 or 7. I think we were charging 7 at one point for a front end program that people, will absolutely pay for. So it's good having you on. Thanks for joining us, and I think going back kind of to the Iron Circle and people kind of talking about like, hey, isn't he kind of doing what we're doing? I just wanted to circle back on this because it's very important to me that if we said we were going to bring the best in the industry of coaches or gym owners in this industry, we have to assume on some level that some of them will have their own coaching programs and masterminds. We have to assume that. And in fact, not only do you, Nicole, HSN Nutrition is part of our, she'll be on another show coming up. And she's hosting the pre-con at the Growth Summit. And we have others that serve the fitness industry on a couple different levels in there. So happy to have you in here and sharing the resources. And I know you're helping a ton of people and you're definitely helping the Iron Circle out. So appreciate you coming by.
Thanks a lot, Tim. I appreciate it. And everything that you guys have built with the Iron Circle, we just had this conversation the other week. It's truly special. There's nothing else like it.
Yeah.
In the fitness industry. And I've been in a lot of different programs and everything like that. There's just nothing else. So what you built is truly unique, and happy to be here.
All right, perfect, man. Well, thank you. That's it for this episode, guys. Until next time, keep changing lives. We'll see you on the next show. Bye. All right, and thank you for listening to that episode of the Built to Grow podcast, where we help gym owners win. Now, do you want to connect with me and other gym owners online? All you need to do is join our private Facebook group, Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. Just head on over to Facebook and type in Business Talk with Fitness Professionals, and when you do, we're going to give you our 10 marketing strategies 7-figure gym owners use to win. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until then, keep building something great.